this video, we're going to demonstrate how to score a 3-on-3 basketball game with TurboStats and Broadcast to StatBroadcast. Now, the StatBroadcast application is already installed here. You could start the application before you go into TurboStats, so I'll start that now. And you're going to have to log in, put in your credentials if you have them. And then what you do is you're ready to load a configuration. Okay, you can do that now. Pick the configuration for the game that you're going to be scoring and hit load configuration. And then it's going to ask you for an XML file. Now, if you haven't started TurboStats yet and made the XML, what you got to do here is you got to go into the TurboStats application, open up your team, and what you want to do is open up the visiting team, the team that's going to be on the left side of the scoring screen. If you'd like the home team to be on the left side, you could open up the home team as well, but in StatBroadcast it will show the visitors on the left. That's just a preference on how you want to score the game. So I'm going to open up the team here, and I'm going to go to the game screen by clicking either games here or games at the top. Now on the game screen, if the game's already pre-assigned for you, you can just highlight the game and hit live or live score to start scoring. If the game is like a playoff round and pool plays over and you have to do the matchups for who's playing in the next round, what you could do is click on the Add Game button down at the bottom, and you can create the game yourself just by putting in the date and the time, who the home and visiting team is, and choosing Browse to select the opponent. If I hit Browse, and let's say we're going to play the Big West, okay, I'm ready to do that. I just put in the venue, put in who's the home team. Now this is going to be the team that's currently open, Big Ten, and that'll be the visiting team. And I can hit Create Game, and I'm ready to score that game. Otherwise, I could go to Schedule, and if this is being worked with a league and you're using our TurboStats League software and website, the schedule should be listed here for the game ready to play, and all you have to do is highlight the game, and it'll set all this information up for you. And it'll also put in the right box score name that matches the schedule name. See, this is game number 4. The box score should have game 4 in there. And this way, when you post the box score and the game's over, it'll match the score bar on the website. So I'm going to just hit Create Game now, and it's going to ask me if I want to create a game for the opponent. And so I say yes to that. And now here we're in the game ready to score. If there's any lineup changes, you can hit Lineup here and highlight a player, make any change, or hit New and add a player for either team. It's best to make all your lineup changes before you get into live scoring, but if you have a last-minute change or a number change, make sure the player is not in the game when you're changing a uniform number. Okay, so go to Preferences for the first time you're running it, and make sure you choose that you're going to have 3 players in the game if it's 3-on-3 basketball, that you're going to have 3's equal 2, and 2's equals 1. Now, if you change this setting, you do have to exit out of the game form and get back in the first time you change it. Okay, otherwise the stat calculations won't be correct. So what you're going to do here is just going to exit out after you make that change. You only have to do this once, and then just go right back in, highlight the game you made, hit live score, and you're all ready to go. Okay, and go into Preferences now, and you want to go into Webcast and Video. But first, obviously, you make sure your minutes per period is correct. For this game, we're going to have 10 minutes per period, and we're only going to have 1 period. Okay, and the other settings for fouls to bonus, you could set those as well if they're going to change. If there's any clock time, see there's 8 minutes here, and it's 10 minutes now, I just changed it to. You want to hit Reset Clock. Okay? Make sure there's no players in the game when you reset the clock. So do that before you start adding players in. If you already put some players in, you can hit Undo, take them out, and go and change the clock. That'll affect the playing time of the player. Okay, the other preference you have to set is the webcasting and video option. If you're going to be linking your StatBroadcast page, you could put the StatBroadcast website path in here. Might not be a requirement for what you're doing. You have to ask your people if they want to do that. And then on the Gamecast type, it's probably going to be set to Gamecast Live for the first time, but you want to change it to Local File XML. If you're going to be updating the score bar on the live scoring page, you could also hit XML/scorebar. But right now we're going to choose local file XML as a default. Don't use the one that says ORG. Just use the file that says XML. And then you got to put a path to the XML file we're going to create. It'll default to basket, so you're all set. If it didn't, you could hit browse and move through the folders to make sure it says C:basket in here. Alright, so we're all set with that. We're going to hit done, and we're going to hit post online webcast to start the broadcast, and that's going to make the XML file TurboStats.xml. Now if you want to view it and see what the file looks like, if it's okay, when you click on that button, if it views in your browser, it's a good file. With the XML files, if there's any problems with the file, you won't even see it in the browser. So you're all set here with this file. And I'm going to close out of this and go back to the stat broadcast, and I'm going to select this file now from the CBasket folder. I'm going to go to CBasket, and I'm going to look for TurboStats.xml. Don't get the HTML. Make sure you get the XML file. Highlight that and hit open. Okay, so now it imports the configuration, but it didn't transmit yet to Stat Broadcast. So you want to hit Start Transmitting now. And now everything's all set. You'll see some transmission information down at the bottom here. And that game with the Big Ten versus Big West that we just set up should be available now in Stat Broadcast. If you want to see it, you go to Options, Show Stats Feed in Browser. Okay, and there you go. This is the game ready to score. And now you see now Big West is on the left and Big Ten is on the right. And that's because you don't want to close these pages for Stat Broadcast. You could just minimize it. The reason that happened was because I have the home team on the left side here. And so it switches in Stat Broadcast. It's not a real problem, except, you know, if you want it to be the same here, and we'll go in here and we'll swap the home and visiting team. Now when I do this now and I webcast again, Stat Broadcast is going to notice a game change, and it's going to prompt you. You heard that message. You might not see the box. I'm going to open up Stat Broadcast, and here is the box. It says the game was changed. Now this is like a warning if you scored a game and finished it and you forgot to end the transmission and start a new event, you would get this message from Stat Broadcast. But in this case, we want to confirm that yes, this was a good change, and I'm going to hit yes now. And when I go back into Stat Broadcast now, and I go into show the event in the browser here, you're going to see now that Big Ten now is on the left side and Big West is on the right side. Again, the stats would be correct either way. It's just a matter of you know, having it match when you're checking back and forth for the scores. Okay, so I'm going to minimize all this. So you can't close any of these things. You've got to minimize them. Okay, same thing with the broadcaster here in TurboStats that makes the XML file. Just minimize it. When you look on the scoreboard here, you'll see a little red dot, and that means that the broadcaster is running. Okay, so you want to start adding players into the game. You could drag and drop them in, or you could double click and they'll just go into the next available scoring location. Okay, so you're ready to score, and there's a video on how to score, but I'll just show you a few events here. I'll start the clock. And one of the things that is helpful is to understand how to enter a block. And the way to do that, the easiest way, is to click on the spot on the floor where the shot went up. Okay, and now you're going to click who missed the shot. Okay, and now the rebound, you're going to choose block at that point, and then choose who blocked the shot. Okay, and then now you can pick who got the rebound. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do it. Right now I have the setting that if I click on the floor first, it's going to choose a missed shot. Okay, if you don't want that, if you always want to choose made or miss, we have to go into the settings, go into preferences, and go into autocomplete. Okay, and you have default to miss on court tap. You could uncheck that. Okay, if you don't want to get it prompted for any assists, you could uncheck those as well, and you could enter them manually, but it's pretty much set the way you would want to use it right now for the basic stats. So now when I click on the floor, if I click anywhere on the floor, I don't get a made or missed selection. So I always have to click the floor, then made or missed, and then the number of the player, and then who got the assist. Okay, if it's an unassisted basket, I could click the floor and unassist, and then the player, and I won't get prompt for assist. That's a little quicker. So let me just enter a few events here. We got a missed shot from this location, and now if there's a putback, a rebound, and then another shot by the same player, I could just hit putback made. I hit the P and then the number, and it puts the putback behind the basket here for you. So it really speeds up your data entry for putbacks. So let's just say we got one, missed the shot, okay, and then there was a putback missed by 3, and then there was a putback made by 2. You see how quick that is instead of entering rebounds. Okay, so I can stop the clock here, and I just want to go over now what to do if you have any changes. Let's say you made a mistake in the score and you want to undo. Okay, so that affects the score, but it will not automatically broadcast. If you want to push it out to the Stat Broadcast page, I'll show you what it looks like now on the Stat Broadcast side. Open up the web browser. Okay, so they got 3 to 3, and we just did an undo. An undo won't automatically update, so what I'll do is I'll just hit webcast and then go back and look at it, and you'll see it made the change. So if you make any changes, you put subs in, those things don't automatically broadcast to Stat Broadcast. You just have to hit the webcast button to push those changes up there. If you have any edits, you could either undo, or you could go into the event log and highlight the particular event, and let's just say it was the wrong player who made the basket. I could choose edit, and I can come here and I could switch a player, and I could hit save, okay, and then it'll make the change in the stats. Okay, you see the new player here. You might not have any time to do that when the game's going, or even find the event. So if you want to just quickly make any changes, you can click right in the stats box up here, and you can highlight any player, and you can undo a shot made, okay, if you want to. All right, and it'll undo the attempt as well. And then you can pick a different player and you can switch it that way. Okay, so that's just a quick brute force. The play-by-play is not going to be right, but if you're making changes, you don't have time, you can go right into the stats screen and make those changes. Okay, now when the game's over, if you click on webcast, okay, it should pop up the webcast screen. Let me see where that went. Okay, and you can look down at the bottom of your screen. You could also select it that way by clicking on the basketball icon and choosing the form that's available down at the bottom. So now what we want to do is wrap up this game, okay, and what we want to do is we want to print a box score and end the game. When you end the game, it'll put final in Stat Broadcast. Even though the score ends at 20 or 21, whatever you're running to, or if the time runs out, okay, Stat Broadcast doesn't know the game is over, so hit end game, and it'll ask you if you want to finalize it. You hit yes, okay, and then you go into the webcast again and choose box web, okay, and this box web is going to allow you to create the box score from the game and summarize it. So make sure it says back to league site, and that you have the name of the league here. This one's going to be called 2019, and the game number. This should automatically come in when you import the games from the schedule, but if you're making the games on your own, look up the schedule and see what game number this is, and then put the right number in here. Then hit create box score, and this is going to wrap up the game and summarize it up on the website, and also put the team stats up there for the leaderboard and the team pages. So if I click on that link there, I see the box score from the game. Okay, I happen to choose white. It's not good to use white for the box scores, but the box score is posted now, and you can go to the play-by-play, and you'll see all the play-by-play data. And if you notice, there's these boxes here because we had player photos on them. We don't have any player photos right now, so we could turn this off. We can go and click player photos and say none. That should stay once you set it the first time. We do have PNG logos in this event, so we're going to leave them there. And then I'm going to hide this thing here, and I'm going to create the box score again, just to show you what it'll look like with the logos and the photos aren't set right. And I can click on view. Okay, and now I go to play-by-play, and you don't see those boxes in there. So make sure that the player photos are off unless you're told that we now have photos for this event. Okay, so now you're done with this. You want to stop the webcast, and you want to exit out of the live scoring screen. There's not a lot of time between games, so you want to do this pretty quickly. You want to go to the cloud drive, back up, and put these databases back on the cloud. So you may see a lot of teams in here as you've been scoring. This blue area is the cloud drive that's shared, and the white area over here is your local computer. And you want to upload the games to the cloud drive so they have access to them to do other advanced web reports that they need to do. So hit upload last, and that'll upload the last two teams to the cloud drive. Just hit yes. Okay. And then we'll upload the Big West. So it remembers the two teams that you just scored, and it'll upload them for you. If not, you could pick them out of the list here. The same thing, you could upload them. But just hitting the upload last is real convenient. Okay, so now you're ready to open up the next game. So now you want to go into StatBroadcast now, and you want to stop transmitting because the game's over. It's important that you stop, because if you go into the next game and start creating XML files and the broadcasting is still active, you're going to overwrite the game with the new game, and you don't want to do that. So make sure you stop the transmission. Then you got to go and load a new event. Okay, and then pick the next game in the list here that you're going to be scoring. I don't have another sample, but you pick the next game, hit load configuration. Again, pick the XML file, go to the basket folder, pick TurboStats.xml. Okay, don't want to transmit yet because that's going to put in the game we just completed as the new game. So let's go in and let's open up another team that we're going to score with. Okay, and the next game, say, and we'll go into the game screen. And if you know these games in advance, you might want to come in and set them up when you have time before the event. If you get the pool play games, it should be already listed in here. You just highlight them and hit score. But if you're doing it on the fly, you hit add game again, go to schedule, see if there's any games here available to play. If not, you just go and you hit browse and you pick an opponent here. Okay, home or visitor. Okay, you see the team file that's going to be used for that team here. I want to put the venue, the time, and everything in here. Okay, the date and the time. And then hit create game. It'll create a game for the opponent. If you want to maximize the scoring screen, what you do is just click this up arrow and that'll maximize it on your desktop. If you want to just drag it to a certain size, you click these lines over here and then just drag the application, and you'll see it'll get bigger based on how wide you make it. Okay, and if you want to make any changes to this, go back to another size. It's a good idea to exit completely out of the game form and get back in to reset everything. Okay, now everything's set. You just hit post online to start the broadcast again. Okay, now you have your new XML file. You jump back to StatBroadcast and you just hit start transmitting now, and now the new game will be up on the site. And that's how you do it. So if you have any questions, make sure you give us a call. You have our phone number. Good luck with everything. Thanks for watching.